The 12 Days of Christmas Movies You Didn't Know Were Christmas Movies. Number 10, Batman and Robin, released in 1997, PG-13. This movie stars George Clooney as Batman and Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze. Mr. Freeze has 27 ice puns during this movie. Pretty cool. This movie is most notable for Alicia Silverstone playing Batgirl. She's the first movie that Batgirl has been featured in. This is actually an awful movie. It actually made a list in 2015 of the top 50 worst movies ever made. But if you go into it thinking that this is going to be the worst movie you've ever seen, it might be okay. Anyway, enjoy. The 12 Days of Christmas Movies You Didn't Know Were Christmas Movies. Number 9, Rocky IV, released in 1985, rated PG. Obviously, this stars Sylvester Stallone as Rocky. This is the greatest sports Christmas movie out there. Okay, it's the only Christmas sports movie that's out there that I know of, anyway. You're probably thinking Rocky IV, probably not going to be very good because, you know, movie quality can... This is actually the highest grossing movie of the Rocky series, and considering that Rocky is actually in the American Film Institute's top 100 movies of all time. This is a Christmas movie because the big fight at the end actually takes place on Christmas in Russia. Brr. So bundle up and watch Rocky IV. So this guy stops in at a bar on the way home from work and, you know, to have a drink and relax. And while he's there, he meets a woman and buys her a drink, and they start talking, and long story short, they go back to her place and they start dancing and hugging and kissing, and long story short, he wakes up at 2 a.m. Oh my God, my wife's gonna kill me. I gotta get it. And so he's getting his clothes on, he's getting baby powder, I need baby powder. Where's your baby powder? She says, it's in the bathroom. So he goes into the bathroom, he finds the baby powder, he puts the baby powder in his hands, and he goes home. As soon as he walks in the door, where have you been? It's 2 a.m. Where have you been? Honey, it's funny. I stopped at the bar on the way home, and you know, just to have a drink and relax. And I met this woman, and I bought her a drink. And we started talking, and you know, we ended up going back to her place. So we started dancing, and you know, it's 2 a.m. And she's like, "Really? You expect me to believe you've been out with another woman?" And he goes, "Yep." She says, "Let me see your hands." He holds out his hands. She says, "I knew it. You've been out bowling again." So when I've gone live, I've had people ask what my favorite joke is. Here it is. So this elderly couple are sitting around the house one day, and you know, he's reading the paper, she's knitting. She sits there knitting down, turns to her husband and says, "You know what sounds good for lunch?" He lowers his paper, looks at his wife, says, "I have no idea." She says, "A hot pastrami sandwich." And he puts his paper aside, and he says, "Well, I'll go down to the deli and I'll get you a hot pastrami sandwich." She says, "Now write it down or you'll forget." He says, "You want a hot pastrami sandwich? I won't forget." He starts to put on his shoes. And she goes, "And lots of mustard." And he's like, "Right, lots of mustard." She says, "Now write it down or you'll forget." He says, "You want a hot pastrami sandwich with lots of mustard? I won't forget." And starts to put on his coat. And she goes, "Oh, and a big kosher pickle." And he's like, "Great, big kosher pickle." She says, "Now write it down or you'll forget." He says, "You want a hot pastrami sandwich with lots of mustard, a big kosher pickle? I won't forget." Puts on his hat, out the door he goes. 20 minutes later, he's back with a fried egg sandwich, and his wife goes ballistic. See, I told you to write it down." And he goes, "Why? What's wrong?" And she says, "You forgot the bagel." The 12 Days of Christmas Movies You Didn't Know Were Christmas Movies. Number 8, Trading Places, 1983, rated R, starring Dan Aykroyd and Eddie Murphy as the comedy duo that they are. To tie in with yesterday's entry of Rocky IV, at the beginning of Trading Places, you can actually see the statue used in Rocky III. Just a little tie-in. In 2006, this actually made a list of the top 50 comedy movies of all time, and apparently this is aired every year on Christmas Eve in Italy. I don't know what you do with that, but there you go. Check out Trading Places. The 12 Days of Christmas Movies You Didn't Know Were Christmas Movies. Number 7, Edward Scissorhands, 1990, PG-13. This movie stars Johnny Depp and Winona Ryder. This movie actually made the list, I believe it was 2006, of the 1001 movies you must see before you die. There you go. Fun little trivia. Johnny Depp's first movie role was A Nightmare on Elm Street, 1984. The killer in that movie has knives on his fingers. Edward Scissorhands. Interesting. Anyway, enjoy Edward Scissorhands.
For something. This Christmas, something for the whole world, not just for you. What would it be?
For people not to be mean and start fights.
You mean like wars?
Up like Santa Claus on Christmas. As soon as I can get out on parole, I'm anxious to get out among the living